Hi everyone, I'm Kim from Beyond Fitness and I'm going to go through a little foam rolling and self-myofascial release guide for you this afternoon. So for this session you will need a foam roller. You can have textured ones like this or you might have a smooth one. Either is absolutely fine. And if you have a massage ball like this one, grab that as well. Otherwise you can use either a tennis ball, a cricket ball, a golf ball, any sort of round object, because there's certain parts of our body that we can release with a ball rather than the foam roller. So before we start off, I'll just go through some of the benefits of foam rolling. There's a lot of controversy about foam rolling if you Google it or look on various websites. Some people swear by it and some people think it's an absolute waste of time. I personally have used foam rolling in the past and found it really helpful, and I think if you find something helpful, then you might as well do it, even if there's not necessarily tons of scientific research to back it. If it relieves pain and helps you feel better, then why not? Stick with it. So some of the benefits that people find from foam rolling on a regular basis include relieving muscle pain and soreness, which you might have through exercise or if you train, and it can also increase the blood flow throughout your body, blood flow into the muscles, and it can decrease inflammation caused by exercise or fitness or general movement, and it can also potentially help improve our range of motion at a joint temporarily. So that's sort of the benefits as to why we foam roll, and we can foam roll either before or after a workout, whatever suits you. It doesn't really matter too much when you do it. I personally do it before a workout because I know after I've finished I'm kind of like ready to get on with the rest of my day, so I tend to just finish the workout and then leave straight away, and if I do that then I'd forget to do the foam rolling. So I always tend to do my foam rolling right at the start of my workout, focus on the muscles that I'm going to be training, and that way I know that it's done and I don't need to do it at the end either. But obviously some people prefer to do it post-workout as well. So with that being said, we will start. We're going to start from the bottom of the body up. So the first part of our body we're going to foam roll are the soles of our feet. So for this you will need a tennis ball or a spiky massage ball, and we're just going to be rolling the ball lengthways and in circular motions around the base of our foot. So I will quickly stand up and show you guys. So the reason we would foam roll our feet out is because we have connective tissue running up the sole of our foot called our plantar fascia, and some people may experience pain along the sole of their foot, which can lead to plantar fasciitis, and this can be caused, a lot of runners get this, and also maybe if you're overweight or you're wearing ill-fitting shoes, you can start to get inflammation in the fascia on the bottom of your foot. So rolling your feet out like this is a really great way to prevent that inflammation. So you can just roll lengthways of your foot, going from your heel all the way to the ball of your foot. You can kind of judge how much pressure you put on, and you can also go in circular motions as well. And back and forth. I'm not going to do both feet. You guys can pause this video once you've watched the demo of each body part and then take a few minutes to focus on that particular area. If there's a specific point that feels quite stiff, you can just hold it there and put some pressure, slightly more pressure on. Okay, so that's our feet, self-myofascial release of our feet. Just to counteract that, now we're just going to do a little stretch of the feet as well, and you might have done this in yoga or after a workout. Again, we're just stretching out that sole of the foot, and quite a good thing to do after you've rolled it out with the ball. So we're just balancing on the balls of our feet here and then trying to put as much weight as we can, so really stretching the sole of the foot out. It can be quite intense, so you can try and hold for as long as possible and then release. Give your toes a little wiggle and then come back. Alright, so moving on to our calf muscles, these nice muscles in our lower leg. We're actually going to stay with the foam, with the ball, with the massage ball or the tennis ball or whatever ball you've got. You can use a foam roller if you don't have a ball handy, but I think it's better for our juicy calf muscles. We want to use one of these. So we've got two muscles in our calf, and the actual belly of the muscle doesn't really start till halfway up our lower leg. So we don't really need to roll down here, that's the tendon. So we can start with the ball, quite like halfway up our lower leg, and just roll. I usually go in circular motions first, just to warm up. From side to side, going in one direction. And you can slightly rotate your foot from side to side as well, getting into the different sides of the two muscles there. And again, if you find a little spot that feels tender, you can hold and put pressure on it, push down your leg into the mat, into the ball to put more pressure on, and just make sure you carry on breathing. It can be quite intense, so just hold it for as long as you possibly can and then release, and you can go back to rolling it out. Okay, and just making sure you're rotating your foot from side to side as well. When we foam roll, we want to just be focusing on the muscle fibres rather than putting pressure over our joints. So our calf, we can go up towards the back of our knee, but we don't want to put any pressure and roll over our knee or any other joint. Cool. So that is our calves. Again, you can stop this video and do the other leg. Next, we're going to move on to the hamstrings. So the hamstrings are three muscles that run up the back of our leg. They attach just below our knee and they go all the way up to like the bottom of our pelvis. They again tend to be quite tight in people, and like runners, anyone that does like sort of endurance sports, footballers as well, tend to have quite sore hamstrings. So sometimes stretching them out just isn't enough. We need to go in a bit deeper with some myofascial release. And you can think of foam rolling or self-myofascial release as an alternative to getting a deep tissue massage. So with the foam roller here, we're just going to place the foam roller just on the back of our leg, just above the back of the knee. And then we're going to lift ourselves up. You can engage your core slightly here, and then rolling back and forth, all the way up to the base of your butt, and then rolling back. And again, you can rotate your foot slightly to make sure that you're targeting each individual hamstring muscle slightly more. I personally don't use the foam roller too much on my hamstrings, but I thought it would be a beneficial one to include in this video. And I'm basically covering all the sort of main muscles that I foam roll and release. And there's obviously more that you can do, but I thought these were sort of the key players that I'm focusing on today. Okay, so trying to roll up, not putting pressure on the knee, but rolling all the way up to the base of the bum and coming down. So again, stop the video, swap legs, make sure you're doing both sides of the body. The next one we're going to do is the old ITB, so the IT band, as you might have heard it being referred to before, is a piece of connective tissue that runs down from our hip down to the base of our lower leg. Not the base, the top of our lower leg here. Okay, so it's not a muscle, but it can get really tight, and because if people never have foam rolled or never had like a massage on the IT band before, it can be pretty intense, pretty painful. So take it easy with this one, especially if you've got one of these like nasty looking textured foam rollers. It can be quite tough on the old IT band. But the benefits of foam rolling our ITB is if it gets really, really tight, it can actually bring our kneecaps slightly out of alignment, and then our kneecaps not tracking properly, which can cause some pain on the front of the knee or a bit of inflammation. So it's worth just trying, if you can, to endure the pain and release it a little bit, especially again, I feel like runners and people that do like a lot of exercise tend to find that this is pretty tight and pretty painful. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to foam roll your IT band. The first way is not putting all our body weight on, so you're bracing yourself with your other leg so that you don't have to use all your body weight. And then we're rolling quite slowly all the way down towards the knee, again not going over the knee joint, and then back, and then all the way up towards the hip, okay, and then going again. And then if you're feeling tough and you want to put your whole body weight on, or you've done this a little bit before, you can lift that leg off and put some more pressure on it. Okay? Just like focusing on engaging the core a little bit when you're doing these sort of side plank movements. And then all the way up to the hip. Feels good. Cool. So that's your IT band. Don't be surprised if that feels pretty painful and pretty intense. That is normal when you first start rolling out your IT band, but it's one to stick with, and it definitely gets easier over time. So we're now going to focus on another big set of muscles in the leg, our quadriceps. We've got 4 muscles running down the front of our leg here. And again, this is quite an intense release with the foam roller. So ease yourself into it if this is your first time foam rolling. I usually have one leg out to the side to brace myself. And then, maybe I'll show you this way actually. Starting from just above the knee, resting on my forearms, and rolling up the length all the way towards my groin, and then back down towards the knee, and then up towards my hip and groin. And again, you can rotate your foot slightly and rotate your leg so that you're targeting some of the specific quad muscles a little bit deeper. Okay? I wouldn't advise putting full body weight on for this, because again it's a pretty sensitive and intense release. And just trying to get as far up the muscle as you can before slowly rolling back down. And again, just focusing on engaging the core a little bit to protect our back in that position. Cool, so we've done our feet, our calves, our hamstrings, our IT band, our quadriceps. We're now going to focus on our glutes. So for our glutes, we're going to use both the foam roller and the massage ball, and we're going to start off with the massage ball. So the benefits of rolling out and releasing our glutes is a lot of people who have lower back pain, it sometimes can be because of having very tight glute muscles. So if we release them, we might find relief in our back as well. And it tends to be one of those areas of the body that gets quite tight in people. And I've been doing massage for about 4 years now, and I always find everyone has tight glutes. So one to focus on for sure. Grab your ball and you're just going to place it underneath one of your butt cheeks. Okay, right in the middle of the muscle, the belly of the muscle. And then you're just going to, I tend to just find a little spot and wiggle around on it first, just to sort of warm up those deep glute muscles, your piriformis. You'll feel a little tender spot as well. You can put pressure on there and hold it if that feels manageable. And then a little bit of like circular motions again. And you can also, if this feels comfortable on your knee, you can bend that leg up, rest it up just above the other knee, and roll from side to side to get in deeper. But that is quite deep, so play around, find your limit. Okay, rotating slightly. Okay, another thing that I do, and this is just personal preference, I tend to sit, once I've found a tender spot in those deep gluteal muscles, I tend to sit on it and then sort of clam my legs open and close them. Okay. I just find that helps release it a little bit more. Okay, so make sure you do both sides. And then once I've rolled out and released those deep gluteal muscles, I tend to use the foam roller just to target like the muscles around the top and leading into the lower back. So for this, I sit on the foam roller. And again, you're starting on one side first and then moving on to the other, bending that knee, letting it rest over the other knee. And then this time, focusing more on the top of the glutes and the sort of lower back, around where they attach onto the pelvis. And again, quite a sensitive little area there. So just ease yourself into it. Have a little play around. If you find a spot that feels tender, you can hold, put a bit more pressure on it, some deep breaths, and then release. Okay, so that's sort of the major parts of the lower leg and lower leg muscles that I focus on when I'm doing a bit of self-myofascial release. I'm going to show you two more ways, two more parts of the body to focus on as well. And for these two, oh no, we're going to use the ball and the foam roller. So our lats first. So our lats, or otherwise latimus dorsi, is a big, thin, sort of flat muscle that attaches kind of underneath our armpit and then goes all the way down the side of our back, all the way down to our sort of pelvis area. So for this one, quite a nice chilled position to be in. You want to be lying on your side. I tend to support my head, my neck and my head with this hand, just so you're not tensing your neck. And I slightly open my chest up and outwards, okay? And then if you just find, you'll feel the little spot underneath your armpit where it feels quite tender and sore. And I tend to just roll back and forward there a little bit, like a kind of pulsing movement, nothing too major to start with. You can also play around with opening that chest up, looking up towards the sky a bit more. And it's quite tender just there around the attachment. And you can also kind of come up into, use your knee to brace and coming up a little bit more to roll slightly further down. Okay, but this again is quite intense. So build yourself up into it and release. So there, I'll show you again. You can cross your back leg and rest it in front. Brace yourself, lift your other leg off the ground. and sort of roll back and forwards slightly further down that lats. Nice. And making sure you do the other side, of course. And the final one we're going to do is sort of the upper back, the rhomboids. Okay, so the rhomboids are these muscles that sit sort of on each side of in between our scapula and our spine. So they attach our shoulder blade to our spine. And again, one of those muscles that I've noticed over the years from massaging can be extremely painful in people and can get tight very easily and carry tension. So worth rolling them out for sure. So there's a couple of different ways we can do our rhomboids and upper back. One of them, if you don't have a ball, I'll show you how to do it with the foam roller, is coming into a sort of knees up kind of bridge position, supporting the head and neck, and you can just roll very gently back and forward. Again, we don't really want to put too much direct pressure on the spine. Okay, so if you don't have a tennis ball or a massage ball, you can use that way. Another way to release them is to get your ball. I'll show you from behind. We're going to place this massage ball sort of in between our shoulder blade and our spine. You should feel a little tender spot. So get yourself into that position. Try not to rest the ball on the spine and then put pressure on it. You should find that like little muscular bit in between the shoulder blade and the spine, and it will feel tender for sure when you lie on it. And then you can just hold it here for a second, let it release if that feels okay. And then if you want, you can bring your arm and open it up, hold, and then bring your arm across your body again. Feels really good. Okay, just relaxing the head and neck and making sure you do both sides. So in this guide, I've just demoed to you one side of the body, but obviously you want to be focusing on both sets of muscles, both sides of the body, and you can definitely spend a little bit more time releasing each muscle than I've done in this video. This is just a kind of step-by-step guide. Feel free to pause it whenever you want. Cool. You can also do this one standing up against a wall and rolling up and down with the ball, but I thought it would be easier to show you guys on the mat. But the same concept, you put the balls in between your shoulder blade and your spine and lean up against a wall, and you can roll up and down your rhomboids with the massage ball. So, there you go. Feel free to send me a message or let me know if you found this guide helpful. I had a couple of people wanting a guide to foam rolling who had never done it before, so that was the idea behind this video. And I've also got a little guide to stretching and foam rolling that's going to be available on our website very soon, which is www.beyondfitness.uk, so you can check that out. See ya!